Estamos de regreso con Arte y Espectáculos y mañana se llevará a cabo una edición más de los premios Oscar, que será un evento muy diferente a lo que venimos viendo en estos años. Ustedes saben que son los premios que organiza la Academia de las Artes y Ciencias Cinematográficas de Estados Unidos, que conocemos como la Academia de Cine de Estados Unidos, y entregan los premios Oscar, el reconocimiento más importante al cine, o por lo menos al que damos más importancia, a pesar de que también hay festivales sumamente importantes en el mundo. Una de las películas más nominadas es Nomadland. Tiene 6 nominaciones, está ya en las salas de cine de nuestro país. No pudimos tener una charla digamos, face to face con la directora, con Chloé Zhao, pero muy amablemente la producción de la película nos mandó este material donde ella responde preguntas y nos va hablando de este gran largometraje que, por cierto, les recomiendo que si aún no lo vieron, que lo vean porque es un viaje maravilloso realmente y magistralmente dirigido y actuado. Así que vamos con la primera parte de la charla con Chloé Zhao. Ella en este material comenta sobre cómo se involucró al proyecto.
Frances saw the writer in Toronto, and then she and Peter reached out to me and asked me to read the book and potentially work together. While reading the book, and bearing in mind that because they have seen the writer, they might be thinking that there's a different way to making this film, and that really got me excited. Yeah.
En esta parte de la charla, la directora de Nomadland, Chloé Zhao, nos comenta más sobre cómo fue estudiando esta vida de nómadas.
I was already building my own camper van, Akira, at the time. So this way of life is very attractive to me. I've done a lot of research myself on YouTube, mostly on YouTube, but they were more of the van life movement for younger people. And Jessica Bruder's book really opened my eyes to what the road is and what this lifestyle means for the generation of Fern's age, of the baby boomer generation.
En esta parte de la charla, Chloé nos comenta cómo fue el desarrollo de los protagonistas de la película.
Because Jessica Bruder's book is so diverse and massive in scale, in terms of the subject matter that she touched on, everything from the fall of Empire Nevada to the gathering in the desert, RTR. Like how could I create a fictional character that has a strong enough of an emotional arc that can sustain the audience while take our main character to all these great places and interesting stories and characters that's in Jessica's book.
Y Chloé nos sigue comentando cómo fue trabajar con estos dos grandes actores, con Frances y con Dave.
When I'm working with professional actors like Fran and Dave, they're really legends of their own right. They're so they have achieved so much in their career, and then their faces, there's a history to it. In our psyche when we look at their faces, and I think what's interesting is for this film is for us how to sort of blend that into faces that we probably ignore if we walk past on the street. How can they coexist in this world, and then that you will feel the same amount of empathy and love for all these faces, and how can they just become two in hundreds. So what's incredible is to watch Dave and Fran work is that they really spend a lot of time crafting and doing their characters, and so when they show up on set, it's very easy for me because they really know who they are in these moments, and they're able to let go of everything they learn and then be completely present and connect with the people in front of them and be surprised and still be in character at all times. And that's something that I think not every actor could do. And, obviously these two are so brilliant.
Esta película tiene paisajes hermosos, tiene lugares preciosos, es una road movie, vamos viendo, vamos viajando con la película y la directora también, por supuesto, nos habla de estos lugares, de estos paisajes.
It's hard to describe when you find a place that just makes sense to you, and you just feel really comfortable in. For some people, it's the ocean. For some people, it's the Rocky Mountains. For me, it's the Badlands of South Dakota. I have no idea why. I got there, and I keep going back. It's been a decade now. I spent a lot of time there. I know more about War Drive, South Dakota than I do most places in the world.
Chloé nos sigue comentando acerca de estos lugares, cómo también se eligieron los lugares, también en base al libro, por supuesto, del cual está basado esta hermosa película.
About 60% of it is already in Jessica's book. And then another 20 come from my own life, places I love, and then another 20 from really friends' life. And places that means a lot to her, like the Pacific Coast, the redwoods, and then also just looking at the American West. How we're very greedy, how many diverse landscape can we include in this movie?
Hay una camioneta que es fundamental en Nomadland y por supuesto la directora también nos comenta acerca de la camioneta.
The van is very much a collaboration between Francis and our production designer, who's also our DP, Joshua Richards. And Josh has, because he's both the DP and the PD, he has an idea of how light is going to work in that space, and the colors, the textures, and that's going to be the very intimate backdrop of Fern's body and skin and face. And he references paintings like, Andrew Wild's work, a lot of paintings, because the way the background, really kind of make the character feel stand out, but in the classic in a way, it isn't just someone in a van taken with an iPhone. We really want to feel cinematic. And because when you're in those small spaces, it has a feeling that can't just be captured with an iPhone photo. We want to do it justice. And he Fran then came with her possessions and where she want her bucket to go, how she wants things to be, like how she wants to cook, because she has pain in her knees, she has arthritis. So that for her, it makes sense if she had these stools. And it was a very authentic collaboration, as if Fran is going to hit the road and how she want her van to be laid out.
Y un rol muy importante en la película es el que cumplen los actores que en realidad son nómadas en la vida real. Entonces ella, por supuesto, nos comenta también acerca de lo que fue este casting.
And Jessica's done the groundwork for us. She spent years and years, and I think there, deep inside, she's part. For me, I think she has the desire to write fiction as well, because she's naturally drawn to stories, and characters that can carry stories. And I think that's why she collected interesting characters that can already be just put straight into a fictional film, and that will work. So I think for me, the hard work is already done. And my job was to, for some of the key supporting roles, I think other than Derek, all the other nomads are in Jessica's book. So I met a lot of them, and not everyone can be comfortable with a camera right there. So I usually test them by putting an iPhone, unless they're like Bob, I know who is going to be comfortable with the camera. And then I have them just talk a little bit about themselves and just see whether they're going to be able to capture the audience attention. It isn't just everyone can do it. So that's how we selected Swanky and Linda May and some of the other nomads. And then again, Jessica had gained trust from this community. So having her blessing is great. And how our production team, our crew, and Francis and Dave, how they conduct themselves are very important. And then ultimately, you just have to trust that people are tough, that they've gone through things in life and they can make decisions for themselves. And then you show them the film in the end and see, and you can always say, this is a fictional film. I can change your name and you'll just be a great actor, and you are. So they're not making a documentary. We're not making a documentary, so they can always be protected by that if they choose to.
Y para terminar, dar un lindo cierre a estas palabras de Chloé Zhao, que recordemos está también ella nominada en la categoría de Mejor Directora por Nomadland. Ella nos comenta cuáles fueron los momentos más especiales en la grabación de Nomadland.
These moments where you feel like there's no way that they just show up and it happened, and because it didn't actually, and like her walking through the RTR in that long take as the sun set perfectly, I'm delighted and surprised just how much planning and how much teamwork everyone was able to, in that very short 10-minute window, not even like 5 minutes when the sun's right there. And everybody from friend to someone who rode a bicycle to our AD producers and ACs and sound person, everyone just working this beautiful organism because the sound is right there and everybody knows this is our moment. And that kind of teamwork from people that have very little in common with each other, to me is I'm not surprised, but I'm still delighted when it happened.